YouTube. I just thought I'd come out and try to do a little something. I hope you appreciate this little writing, this little thing I put together on African American History Month, which is American History Month. This is on someone that I knew a little bit about, and I wanted to say a little something on her. I hope you appreciate it, and I hope you like it. And check her out. She's someone to be thought of and remembered for the contributions she did for our people, for civil rights. Her name was Fannie Lou Hamer. When it comes to civil rights, you don't hear too much about the women who worked and sacrificed their time and life for freedom's sake. Fannie Lou Hamer is one of those early leaders. She was an American voting and women's rights activist and community organizer and a leader in the civil rights movement. She held many prestigious positions within the civil rights movement. She was born October 6, 1917 in Montgomery County, Mississippi. She became interested in civil rights in the 1950s when she heard local leaders speak at the annual Regional Council of Negro Leadership Conference held in Mount Bayou, Mississippi, which discussed voting rights and other civil rights issues faced by the black communities in the area. In 1962, Hamer first learned about her constitutional rights to vote from volunteers at the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee who visited her in Mount Bayou. Now, these were young people who risked their lives in educating the blacks in the South that you have the right to vote. On August 31st, 1962, she traveled to Indianola, Mississippi, trying to register to vote. But the registration tests were crafted to keep blacks from voting. She was asked to explain the de facto laws. She said at the time, and this is her quote, "I knowed about facto laws as a horse knows about Christmas." Rejected at that time, but that was not going to stop her. On September the 10th, while staying with a friend, Hamer was shot at 16 times in a drive-by shooting by white supremacists. Blessedly, no one was hurt, but her family had to leave that county and went to Tallahatchie County for fear of retaliation by the Ku Klux Klan over her attempt to vote. That was just her attempt to vote. Her family stayed for nearly 3 months. On December the 4th, after she returned to her hometown, she went to the courthouse to take the literacy test again. She failed the test and was turned away. But Hamer told the registrar, "You will see me every 30 days till I pass this test." On January the 10th, 1963, Hamer took the literacy test for the 3rd time. She passed it and was told she was a registered voter in the state of Mississippi. However, when she went to vote that fall, she was told her registration gave her no actual power to vote. The county required 2 poll tax receipts. Now, this was set up to try and keep blacks and Native Americans from voting. Hamer later paid for and got the required poll tax receipts. It was like no stopping this lady. She was going to get what she needed to get. Hamer became field secretary for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in 1963. One day, while traveling by bus with co-activists. They stopped to try to get something to eat at this cafe. The waitress refused to serve them, and she had the state police called, which was the beginning of all hell to break out for them. The Mississippi State Highway Police were called. A patrolman took out his billy club, intimidate them to leave. One of the activists went to write down the license plate number to the police car. When the officers saw this, they said, this is too much for them. They entered the cafe. They had everyone in Hamer's group arrested, including Fannie Lou Hamer herself. At the police station, they were beaten unmercifully by the police, and the police even ordered 2 inmates to beat them. All during the assault, Hamer's dress was pulled up over her shoulders, leaving her exposed to male officers and the male inmates. They groped her, stomped her. While this was happening to her, the other members of the group were beaten as well. Hello, Mississippi State Police, 1963. It took Hamer over a month to recuperate, but she never fully recovered physically or psychologically. It affected her. She had a blood clot over her left eye and permanent damage to one of her kidneys. Out of all these horrible things that happened to her, she never gave up that will to fight for justice and equality for her people. She received many accolades later in her life, and she will always be remembered for her fight for voting rights in Mississippi. Unfortunately, she did not live to see old age. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1974. She died of complications of hypertension and breast cancer on March 14, 1977, at the age of 59 at Taborian Hospital in Mount Bayou, Mississippi. Engraved on her tombstone is one of her most famous quotes: "I am sick and tired of being sick and tired." Look her up. Fannie Lou Hamer, someone to be remembered any month of the year. I hope you like this and appreciate it, and I want to thank you for listening. African American History Month, or I should say American History Month, because that's really what it is. Thank you, and I'll be seeing you. Bye now.